All right, so you should have done the previous two examples that when we were evaluating the limit, we were able to take the number that x approaches, plug it into this function, and get a number out. But that doesn't happen every single time, like this one. If I were to, using direct substitution, plug in -3, -3 squared minus 9 over -3 plus 3, what ends up happening is I end up getting 0 divided by 0. And I call this the Woodstock moment. If you think about little Woodstock in the Peanuts, I'm not really good at drawing him in there, and he's yellow. But anyway, it's kind of like you need to do something else. So every time you get 0 over 0 after substitution with limits, you need to do algebra. And there are 3 different types of examples that you can have when you get 0 over 0 of things you need to do, okay? And the first one involves factoring and canceling, okay? So factoring and canceling. So if we take that example that we just did, all right, after substitution, I know I'm going to get 0 divided by 0, okay, which means you need to do algebra. So if I factor this, and you want to write the limit as x approaches -3 each time. So by factoring it, you can now see that they have 2 common factors, so I can cancel them, which means what's going on at this graph? It's a hole, right? Because it's a rational function with 2 factors that cancel. It means there's a hole in the graph, but the limit still exists. What this graph looks like, if you were to graph it, would be the graph of x minus 3. However, there would be a hole at -3. But they still have the same limit, so these 2 equations are equivalent. So now when I go through and work it out, I just plug in -3, and my answer is -6. Why don't you try the next one on this worksheet, pause it, and then when you're done, you can hit play again, and I will go through the answer. Okay, so for this one, after plugging in 5, you end up getting 0 over 0. You always want to do substitution first, because there are examples like this where factoring, you don't need to do it, okay? So always do substitution first to save you some time. All right, since I got 0 over 0, and since it's a rational function, 2 polynomials, I'm going to factor it. So I know the numerator needs to factor to something like this, and it's 2 factors of -30 that need to add to give me 7. All right, which is what? -10 and 3. All right, so when I factor this, notice how the x minus 5's cancel. So this equation is the same as the limit as x approaches 5 of 2x plus 3. And now I can do direct substitution. To get 15, oops, not 15, 10 plus 3, which is 13. Okay, easy? So, on your worksheet that you have, if you could please work on questions 1, 3, and 4.